Hey guys, welcome to the well, normally I say welcome to the shop. We're actually working out in my driveway today because this thing is too big to take inside of my shop, even though I got a pretty good sized ceiling in there. This is my RV. It's actually a 1998 Ford E350 chassis. It's a Class C RV. It's actually in pretty good shape for what it is, and I'm going racing this weekend, which means I need this thing to tow the race car. It is due up for an oil change, and that is what we're going to do right now. So one of the first things to do when you are about to change the oil is actually warm it up a little tiny bit. So we're actually going to climb inside of this old guy right here. Let's see if I can give it a little reach around here. Oh, you going to go for me? There she goes. All right. So we're going to let that thing fire up a little bit, let it run for a moment, get a little bit of heat in the engine. Just because what it's going to do, it's going to allow the oil to drain out of the engine better, so we'll get more of the old oil out. We'll be able to put more new, good, clean oil in. All right. Now, that said, while we're here, I got a couple of things to show you the stuff that we're actually going to use. And there's honestly not a whole lot. If you've ever changed any oil at all on any vehicle, it works the exact same way. There's a drain plug on the bottom. It is a 16 millimeter socket. We're going to take that off, drain it into the oil pan. Let's see if I can show you down here, right there, the oil pan right there. We can drain it in there. I've got some black gloves just to kind of help keep my hands relatively clean. I have got, because I'm getting smart in my old age, I've got some padding so that I can lay down on the ground and check that out. And then I've got the oil. Now this and a filter. This one actually takes 6 quarts of oil and a big replacement filter. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. You may have known I got the cheapo Walmart stuff. It's still full synthetic. It's the high mileage synthetic. I'm not gonna lie, man. I buy it from Walmart. It sells $15 for a 5-gallon quart and a 5-quart jug. I knew what I meant. And then an extra quart to go with it. So that's really about it. We're gonna start taking this thing apart. We're going to take the old oil out now. All right, you guys. It's time to get under the dirty end here. I've already got a 16 millimeter socket ready to go. I'm going to take the drain plug off, get the drain pan up underneath there, and let's get this old oil out of this joint here. You can see the oil draining out of there. Forgive me for not having a lot of space underneath this thing, but by warming up the engine, that stuff's coming out a whole lot easier. The other thing, I don't know if you can quite see it here. Oh, there's the bottom of the oil filter. Right there, that white thing at the top right there. That's the oil filter. I'm going to replace that as well. And I got to give you a true story here. Awesome pro tip on this stuff is that when you've got the new oil filter, take your Sharpie, write today's date on the top so you never forget exactly when you did the oil change. All right, so now it's time to put the drain plug back in. Just kind of reach on up there, get it in the hole. All right, so that's done. Now I had to climb up in here and try to get the oil filter off. Now, it's only hand tight. That's the trick. Never use a wrench to put an oil filter on. I'm hoping I don't need to use one to get it off. Let's see what happens. Not going to be so lucky. I'm going to have to go get a wrench. Be right back. All right, doing the old-fashioned DIY situation here. I can't find my strap wrench to save my life. So I'm doing an old mechanic's trick. I'm going to use an old belt. This is a leather belt that's actually got a bit of a rough texture on it. And we'll see if we can get that thing to get it to grab. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll put that on through. See what we can do. Aha! Yes! It works! It's too cool. Alright. Get this off of there. That should be enough. Yes. Need a Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Now we'll let the rest of that mess drain out. Screw the new filter on and start adding some oil into this old beast. Now, I am a firm believer of pre-filling your filter, especially on this particular engine, where the filter literally goes in this way, goes straight up, so it's going to fill. It's going to hold all that oil just fine. So I'm going to put some of this oil inside while that drain plug is, or while the old oil filter is still draining out. There we go. And this is a big filter. I mean, this thing's got a hold, geez, I'll bet you this holds 7 or 8 ounces probably, easily. All right, so the new filter is pre-filled with oil. I'm going to take a little bit of this oil from the top and just spread it around the rubber gasket on the top right here. That's going to help give it a much better seal. And then we're ready to climb up underneath here and screw this thing on. Sweet, we're in great shape now. All we have to do at this point is refill the oil. Everything's buttoned up down below, so now I'm going to dump the rest of that 1 quart that I put in the filter. That's going to go down into here. Then I got the big 5-quart jug. By the way, it's all the same oil. It's just cheaper to buy it in the big jug, so that's why I do that there. The other nice thing about these big giant jugs is that when you're all done, you got to take this stuff back to the store to recycle it. Guess what you've got? Handy carrying jugs so that you can put this stuff in. Good, perfect. Dun, dun, dun. Cap back on. Let this stuff all settle down into the engine for a brief moment. And then we're going to fire it up and double check the levels. All right, let's fire this old beast up here. That's what we're looking for right there, oil pressure. I'm a giant fan of oil pressure. I like that a bunch. That's exactly where it should be too. Let that run for just a second. Get a little oil circulating around, get it up in the oil filter. So now we're going to shut it off. We're going to let that oil settle back down into the engine and come on over, double check the levels, and, you know, call this thing wrap it up. Time to grab a beverage. All right, last thing we got to do is check the oil dipstick. This is a humongous dipstick because it gets all the way down inside of there. So we're going to pull it all the way up and out of there. Clean it all up and off there. And then you can see, see the different markings on there. So we're going to look to go up here on the fill section there. Drop this back on in. All the way there. Pull this all the way out. Check it out. How's it look? Right on the money. Exactly where it should be. And now this job is officially completed. I am good to go racing this weekend and have this thing tow my race car across the country. Well, across the country from Charlotte to Road Atlanta. Not a bad deal, right? You guys, if you like the content, you appreciate what we're doing over here, and I certainly appreciate you appreciating it. Does that make sense? Anyway, the point is here. Neighbor kids, right? Hit the like button, right? Subscribe. We're always working on stuff here at the shop, and sometimes it's a whole lot of fun, sometimes real basic maintenance stuff, but it's always interesting, and I'm glad to do it for you guys. Thanks a whole lot. Leave your comments down below. I'll talk to you later. See ya.